direct grammar translation. Now, here I would talk about that direct method is discovering the importance of speaking. In grammar translation, now we have to see that translation is also a very potential field. For example, if suppose here I take Hindi as a language and English, learning Hindi to English or any other language like Telugu or Tamil to English, one to one, translation is seen. But in translation has its own challenges. For example, sometimes in it is not necessary to have the sentence being grammatical alone. It is not necessary. The sentence need not to be grammatical alone. What is important is a sentence has to be appropriate also. So in modern grammar, appropriateness is also seen as a key feature. For example, if I give you a sentence in Hindi, I can see that there may be the other parts of India, but I'm using Hindi because Hindi can be a convenient language. If I say a sentence like uh, mhm, any one sentence like if I ask you to translate this, you will say that how did you come here? But that will be rude, very rude. Why have you come here? Will be rude. Appropriateness is a must. For example, if I say appropriateness is a must. For example, if I say Chomsky ate fried lizards that were flying high in the sky, nothing is wrong with the grammar, but syntactic part is there and semantic. In at these two, we don't. A sentence is that which need to have a sense coming out of this. Now I give you another sentence. For example, if I say, "आपकी यहाँ दाल नहीं गलेगी," being a grammatical is one thing, and being a correct sentence and acceptable sentence is another thing. So, for a sentence, in order to be acceptable, you need two things. One is it has to be grammatical, it has to be appropriate. So, grammaticality and appropriateness is both important. मैं कहूँगा आपकी यहाँ दाल नहीं गलेगी. Let me see the literal translation of this. The translation field has its own challenges. Like to know, you need to be aware of the idioms, phrases, metaphors, proverbs, and various other English words being used in the situations as such. आपके यहाँ दाल नहीं गलेगी तो मैं कहूँगा दाल means pulse, गलेगी नहीं तो dissolve or melt. Your pulse will not dissolve here. Sentence is grammatically correct. But does it make any sense in English? Obviously not, because the sentence. So you will have a different way of saying this in English, that you will not have a smooth selling here. या आप मेरे से जलते हैं. You are cooking from me or you are burning from me will not be. The translation is correct. We have proper subject, verb, object. There is a complete subject, verb, concord, but it's not. So you have to say that you are jealous of me or you are envious of me. So in this way, you can see the grammar and appropriateness to be grammatical and appropriateness both have to be considered. So here I want to say that the teacher very important because the teacher has to be given the not only the pedagogies are important because pedagogies also include the proper updated knowledge, the proper content. Updated knowledge has to be with the teacher. So the importance of teacher cannot be denied. Next, I like to say that there is a audio video lingualism also. Sometimes we are teaching through audio, we are teaching through video, and there are humanistic approaches also. A range of holistic methods applies to language learning. And we all teach in engineering colleges, in professional colleges, we all teach communicative language teaching. Yeah, and that is the modern, which is known as CLT, which is highly immersed branch nowadays. So you can see that there are uh, so you can see that there are many. So I'm trying to show you a chart. uh, I'll come to the chart later on. That's why I stopped sharing the screen. Now I would like to tell that these instructive strategies are governed by the learner's background, experience. So you have to see that the student is coming from which background, which state, which diversity, which environment, and what are the learning goals. And therefore, that have to be. And traditional method, it focuses more on the memorization and recitation techniques, mugging up, cramming, and there is a model. Uh, but the modern method is focusing on the critical thinking, problem solving, decision making skills. So, our questions, as you can see at undergraduate level in Devi Ahilya University or any state university, or for that matter, the questions are not based on critical thinking or problem solving. They simply ask you to write an essay type answer or objective type or short answer type questions, which you can manage by just mugging up the answers and managing like that. So modern constructivist approach to teaching, it involves more of interaction, more of give and take, more of imparting and receiving has to be there. Now, I would like to tell you that what should be then responsive teaching strategies. Sometimes nowadays I feel one difficulty that while I'm teaching online, teaching at Google Meet or Zoom to my own students of MA, where I continue to speak, then I'm trying to encourage interaction from them. So I'm planning different sorts of activities at depending upon the level of the students. If they are first year level students, you can ask them to uh, read the lines which you have just read them, or read the lines or repeat the lines, so that there is reinforcement. Or the students are at bit BA second or third level, what you can do is, for example, I have explained one set of lines. I ask them to repeat the explanation which I did. And also you can bring in more games also during this. Of course, you should not deviate. There should be no digressions, but you should focus to the learning item that has to be seen. And then you have to see the word problems. You have to integrate relevant word problems. You can interview students. You can ask students and encourage them to ask the questions, and then you can answer. And other activities can also be planned. So you can gamify your lessons. You can call on each student. So all these things are. Now I'm going to tell you about that. Coming to the language part now. Coming to the language part, I would say that suppose if you are a teacher of a grammar or a teacher of a vocabulary,